Well, ladies, it's the new year. And I know, like most women out there and men, everybody wants to go into the new year with change. And they're
Definitely.
so committed to, okay, this year, this is what I'm going to do different. I know for most, it centers around health and well being. But yet, so many write these goals down and they have no direction on how do I actually attain that? How do I get there?
hmm
And I, for one, am such a huge believer in personal health and how it ties to our success and finance. I believe people who really accept responsibility and take control of their overall health,
For sure.
they can go far in life
Yeah.
because, first and foremost,
Definitely.
health is wealth, in my opinion. So I have always been a big believer in looking and doing the research and going to companies that are doing great things centered around health. And the older I get, which I can't even believe I'm almost 50. I'm 48, but so I'm 2 years away. The older I get, the more important it becomes to really look closely. And so I'm so excited to have Bethany here today from WePellet so we can really dive
you.
into the relationship of hormones and how it affects us as individuals in our day-to-day walk. So welcome, Bethany.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yay.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I know that I have been fortunate enough to interact with you probably for the last, 3 or 4 years?
Almost 4.
Yeah,
Isn't that
it's
crazy?
crazy.
I know.
And I can still remember my journey with my hormones because I was coming off of some issues at the doctor and even dealing with a mom who I knew
Sure.
was diagnosed with a chemical imbalance when all along, I think it had more to do with her hormones just being off
Yeah.
and no one diagnosed her properly. So I've always watched that throughout my life. And when I had met you, I was coming out of I had an ablation done. I had
Mhm.
all these things. I was like, I just want to feel great again.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
probably
absolutely.
remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was tired, 5 children, running businesses. I felt foggy, all these things. And I came in and got my blood work done. And I can vividly remember being like, okay, I have no idea what she's doing, but all you kept telling me was you're going to feel better.
Right.
And I couldn't really wrap my brain around that.
Right.
So could you share with the audience where I was when I came in to
Sure.
WePellet and what my journey has looked like?
Sure. So when you asked me to pull your labs, it's funny because patients always want to know what the numbers are,
Yeah.
right? And it's organic. I understand why, and our providers have done a really, really great job of getting our patients away from really relying only solely on the numbers. So if we're looking at from where you were, when you started to where you are now for a reference point, you were around, your testosterone was around 13. Now
crazy?
you tend to go somewhere between 200 and 250, which is optimal in our providers' eyes. They look for somebody in optimal range to be somewhere between 150 and 250.
Right.
Now, with that being said, it really just matters how you feel. Our entire goal in what we do is just to make people feel better. So Sharon could feel great at 100. I could feel great at 300. So it really is just how you're feeling and the improvements. So when you look back at where you were then to where you are now, the real question is, how did you feel and how do you feel now? Because it's life-changing for people. And even subtle differences in the numbers can be life-changing.
It's unbelievable. But what most people don't realize is they think that that's as good as they're going to feel at that age, right?
Yeah.
I thought at 45, well, this must be what 45 is. But now at 48, I feel more like I'm 20.
Sure.
And my brain functions like it's 20
Sure.
with having the additional help. But more importantly, the more research I do, and maybe you can speak to this,
Sure.
the more I recognize that a lot of disease and illness comes when hormones are out of balance. And while I know you're not a medical doctor,
Yeah.
you have them on staff, but you're not a doctor and you can't say specifically why.
Sure.
But I believe, and the more I read, that hormones, if they're out of whack, it's like an invitation.
Oh, definitely. I mean, hormones are like the crude oil for your body, right? It would literally be like trying to run your car without gas or oil. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
And there are obvious things that happen when our hormones decline, right? Especially women. So women, we go through menopause and we stop having a cycle. And, those are the obvious things, hot flashes and vaginal dryness. And, unfortunately though, all of these other things that happen, weight gain and anxiety, depression, you talking about the chemical imbalances,
Yeah.
there's no Prozac deficiency. Whether you're a doctor or not, that's not a thing. There's no Prozac deficiency as a diagnosis. So many women get prescribed medications that they don't need, or they're told, oh, you're just getting older. Deal with it.
Yeah.
So isn't it fun? Isn't it great? There's just no
It's awful.
reason. There's no reason. And the overwhelming health benefits that occur from balancing your hormones, prevention of osteoporosis, prevention of osteopenia. A woman is most likely to have a heart attack her first year after menopause. That's a fact.
Really?
So, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, we know that hormones are important. Today's show actually did a piece, I think it was in May of last year, where they know now that the Women's Health Initiative, which scared millions of women out of seeking hormone replacement because they told us that it gave us strokes and they told us that it gave us blood clots and cancers, they have now come out and said, well, we're not really sure. The study wasn't great, but they haven't redacted it.
Wow.
So you still have so many women that are afraid hesitant to seek a therapy that really could be not only life-changing for them just from a anecdotal standpoint, but how many diseases could we prevent? How much unnecessary illness could we prevent if people really understood how important it was to be proactive about, not only your hormones, but they're certainly a large part of it.
Yes. So good.
Yeah.
And I think that they would rather people be sick and medicate, right? Because it's a big business.
It is.
But the good news is that the more people know about what they have access to, and you don't need a referral for something like this.
No. And so, Adam and Kathy, who are our founders, they started this company because they loved the result that they got from pellets, hated the experience of what it was like to go through the process. And so, they just said there's got to be a better way. And their number one goal was fixing a broken system, creating an environment where the patient is in charge. So you actually have the control to kind of write your own healthcare destiny, right? So it really is empowering because you get to have a say in how you're treated, how you feel, what your needs and your goals are. So often we go to the doctor and we say we're feeling tired, or we say we're feeling this, and here's a pill. And you go back and now you're having a side effect from that pill. So here's another pill for the side effect that you got from that pill. And healthcare is so reactive. And especially in the United States. You're absolutely right. It's a big business and we are worth more sick.
Yeah.
That is that's just the reality. Yeah. And so, we invest in so many things. We invest in real estate. We invest in the stock market. Yep. Investing in yourself is the number one thing that you can do. Because if you're not there, if you're not present and healthy and operating at your best, none of the rest of it is going to operate well either.
I could not agree more with that.
Yeah.
So many people are just scared to spend on themselves. And so one of those people I brought on today. So because I've known Sharon my whole life, we are the same age, and I've always shared with her, Sharon, you've got to try this. It's so good. So what she doesn't know, which I can't wait for her to reveal your results, Sharon.
Yes,
Sharon had her blood work done
Yep.
Before the holidays, and you're going to share with everyone, the listeners and the audience, where she was and her results. But to see mine go from, 13, and now I'm over 200, it also explains too, I've worked out my whole life, and I watch women my age lose their muscle tone, or they no longer have the stamina that they can work out. And that's just not my story, thanks to WePellet and thanks to getting the pellet. But I can tell you, Kathy and Adam were ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
But more importantly, they've done such a good job with staffing their company with the right people like yourself. I'm not just tuning your own horn. I talk about you every time I leave. I'm literally like, Bethany is the best.
Thank you.
And it makes me feel comfortable because I never feel like walking in the offices, I'm being sold.
Yeah.
You are always about helping and making sure I feel my very best.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you feel like for women? We're not going to share your results yet, Sharon.
Okay, we're waiting. Okay.
But we are going to let you recap how you've been feeling, like the older you get. And so maybe you could share with us what that looks like for you at 48.
And it's so interesting because, even just what you were just mentioning about kind of even the medical field being more reactive. And I think we've been trained to be more reactive, we don't go to the doctor until something's wrong.
Right.
We have a symptom. Oh, I need to go to the doctor because this is wrong or this is wrong. What medication do I need to be on? Rather than the mental shift of, okay, let's be preventive.
Sure.
And let's take care of ourselves and figure out, okay, where are my levels? Let me take control of my own health and prevent things rather than just going when something's wrong.
Right.
You know? And so that's what's been so fascinating to me. And even hearing Amber, like she has for the past few years, she's like, you've got to go get your labs done. You've got to go. I feel like a 20-year-old and you need to function. You know, you can function.
I need my running partner with me.
I need you to this level, right? And so, but I'm like, why? I feel okay. But then even in our conversations, like, but is that okay? Like just feeling okay or feeling fine?
Sure.
I want to feel great.
Yeah.
You know, and in the older we get, like you said, it's hard to even say like being 48, like when did that happen? But realizing like things are not as they used to be when we were in our 20s and you don't shed the weight as quickly. You put it on quicker.
Sure.
It's harder. Like even working out is tougher.
We feel like every morning we wake up and we've added 10 pounds.
Where did that 10 pounds come from? I have no idea. And even like diet and like eating, it's like, oh my goodness, now I'm really having to pay attention. And just even mentally just feeling just kind of tired. And I was just sharing with Amber even yesterday over the weekend. I was like, I just felt like I had no motivation to do anything, no energy. But I was like, I think we chalk it up. Well, it was just Christmas, just finished this, or it was busy. And we're like, we just make excuses. Oh, I'm just tired.
Sure.
But how long do we just say, oh, it was this, or it was that, or it was school, or it was work, or it was, oh, I'm just tired because... But what if it is something internal and we could do something about it to make ourselves feel great again, you know, and be preventive and that type of thing. So I was super excited. Like Amber mentioned, I went in and got, you know, my blood drawn and the labs done and stuff. So I'm super excited to hear kind of where I am and, you know, start that journey of feeling great.
Sure.
And functioning at a capacity so I can be your running partner.
Yeah, seriously.
And we can tackle all the things.
Bethany, what age do you typically recommend that people start to even go in to inquire and check their levels?
You know, there's really no set age, to be honest. You know, my personal, you know, journey, I'll be 35 in February. I felt like for me, as long as I've been doing this and as passionate as I am about helping people, fully bought in, right? I believe this is life-changing. I've seen it change people's lives. I was even like, you know, I don't know, you know, do I really need it? Do I really want to start something and then have to keep up with it? And, you know, for me, had a really, really stressful 2019, 2020, as most of us did, right? But I think that is what kind of tipped the scales for me. I had 2 very small kids, a career change, you know, and then COVID and all of the things that we were all kind of dealing with, right? And I just felt exactly how you just described, like getting through the day was overwhelming. Getting home from work and just thinking about doing anything else felt like it was a mountain that I could not climb. And so, you know, it was accessible to me, thank goodness. And so I was like, you know what do I have to lose? I'm going to try it. I know that it's not going to hurt me.
Right.
If anything, I'm going to have at least the health benefits, even if I don't feel that different. And man, it has been life-changing for me. And it's like somebody just takes the binoculars and clears out your sight. Like the veil is lifted. It's subtle. You know, our goal specifically in our practice is to do things, we want to intervene as little as possible. That's really the reality. We're not trying to create, you know, super athletes and superhumans. We just want you to feel better.
Well, Amber and I want to be super athletes.
There you go. But for the most part, you know, we just want to make you feel the way you did at whatever point in your life you felt your best. That's our goal. And we do that, you know, every day. And it's so rewarding. You know, when we were off camera, I was sharing with Sharon that there are people who come in and it's just like their light has been turned down. They're dim. They come in and they don't have really a specific symptom. They have 25 non-specific ones. I just don't feel great. You know, their marriages are in the tank. Their sex lives are in the tank. A lot of times work and all of these things are just operating at 75%, you know, and that may be okay for some people. And I'm the first one to tell people, if you don't feel like you need this, don't do it because you're going to do it for a year. And this is a lifetime. This is a commitment.
Yeah.
This is how long do you want to run at your optimal level and feel your very best?
That's right.
So if you're okay with feeling just okay, then you're probably not our patient, you know, and that's okay. I would tell anyone that. But if you want to feel your best and you want to feel your most optimal and you want to see your life change, we can absolutely help with that.
Agree 100%. And I think too, once they experience it, you know, I've even tried to say, oh, maybe I can just go 4 months.
Yeah.
No. That's a dangerous territory because you slump back, but it's a great reminder of what it actually has done over the years for me.
Absolutely.
And so for me, I always want to feel like $1 million every morning when I wake up. I want to function like I'm 20. I want my brain to pop off. I want everything to flow.
Yep.
And so without it, I don't think I would be sitting in this chair right now because I wouldn't have energy. So it has been a huge lifesaver for myself. So my results went from 13 to, what am I now?
You run typically between like 200 and 250, which is perfect.
Okay. I've got to hear what you
Amazing.
Say, Sharon.
Yes.
Will you share what Sharon?
Are you comfortable with us sharing?
I'm comfortable, yes.
So I know you are kind of, it's like most people, just kind of indescript symptoms, just across the board, you know, feeling a little fatigued. You know, Sharon is not at a point yet where we would address things like, you know, our providers wouldn't address estrogen or anything like that because she's not having menopausal symptoms.
Right.
But most of the things that she described to our providers are testosterone related.
Yep.
The fatigue and some inflammation, you know, some joint pain and things like that. So her level came back at 24, which if she was providing the information to our staff that she felt fantastic, we would say, okay, you know, great. If you're feeling phenomenal and you don't have any symptoms, you don't think that you have any room for improvement, let's recheck it in 6 months and see where you're at. You know, as far as traditional medicine ranges, it's okay. You know, it's low. It's on the low side for sure. But you know, where you could be and that ideal range and optimal range from what we look at. When you're looking at the optimal ranges that our providers give, it's based on a level that is when you get into that range where some of those other health benefits that we talked about, that's when those start to kick in. So by optimizing your testosterone to somewhere between really 100 and 250, that's when you notice, number one, usually anywhere from 90 to 100% relief in those symptoms.
Wow.
And then also that's when those health benefits start to kick in of the prevention things that occur. A lot of people don't know testosterone is very, very protective of the breasts. There was a massive study done in women who beginning at age 35, if you address using bioidentical testosterone, specifically pellets, actually, this study was, you can decrease your chance of breast cancer by up to 35%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And it's because in the breast, there are receptors that when bound to an androgen instead of an estrogen, that protects your breast. It actually causes cancer cell death. So there's just so many things that, you know, yes, you know, it's a guaranteed when you pellet somebody, their numbers are going to change, right? But really, it would be the symptoms that would improve for you. That would be the biggest noticeable change for you because you could, you know, where Amber feels best at that 200 to 250, I'm actually somebody who feels better a little on the lower end of things. I don't like feeling like I've altered myself. I just like feeling like I'm at my best. So I tend to feel better closer to that like 150 to 200 range. I can tell when I'm over it and I can tell when I'm under it.
Wow.
And
so
you
interesting.
You get that good at being in tune with your body when you're on hormone replacement.
Which that's so great because I think so many people walk around not even in tune with how they're feeling, what's going on inside. So this actually teaches you to really be in tune and watch, like,
definitely.
So you know,
definitely,
what level am I feeling my best at?
And I think that's so important with your health in general because how often do we ignore things that because either we don't have time to deal with it, we don't want to deal with it, maybe we're afraid to deal with it. And so it does, when your body is really in tune, I think you do pay attention to other things more.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for me, especially like I can, like, even when you're starting to get sick or you're like, I just feel like I am definitely much more in tune after working in this industry for as long as I have with paying attention with, okay, I'm going to get ahead of this instead of waiting until I really feel bad and dealing with it.
Yep.
And some of the other benefits of working with your office too that I've found is even like you monitor blood pressure.
Yeah.
You encourage B12, which is helping with wellness and overall
Sure.
well-being. But the side effects of testosterone too, with how it affects your skin,
Yeah.
which I'm a big skin person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anything that I can do to preserve, I'm going to.
Yep.
And it's been a huge help, even with my skin. I exercise quite a bit. I know when my pellet is running out, like just the decline in
Sure.
I can do this, or I
Definitely.
can ride for hours
Yeah.
on the Peloton. And it feels like nothing
Yeah.
with the pellet. So, Sharon,
everybody needs the pellet. We all need to go get the pellet.
I could do an infomercial about this. That's how big of a believer I am. But it's more centered for me right now with having you on here about people are so scared to make the investment in themselves. They always put themselves last, which I'm all for investing in others.
Sure.
And I don't think it's all about me, or you.
Right.
But in order for you to be the best version of yourself and show up and accomplish the goals that you've set out for in 2024 and be the best mom and boss. And so you have to feel good.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so that investment into yourself,
For sure.
it pays itself in dividends to the people below you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people don't realize.
Yep.
So
the
investment, which I want to talk a little bit about that, like what does that look like from a financial standpoint for people who are looking to travel down this road with?
Sure. So
the hormones?
I love our program. I love the way that we do it because I really feel like it makes it attainable for everyone. So unfortunately, because what we do is considered preventative, it's not covered by insurance, which so much of what makes you healthy is not going to be covered by your insurance.
Yep.
But we split things up into an initial fee, which is different for men and women, but we have an initial fee and then we have a monthly fee. So it's $219 a month, and that includes your services that are going to be regarding your pellets. So it breaks it up over the year so that it's attainable. You know, I tell people all the time, you are spending $50 a week on nothing. I promise you, you are. Whether it's coffee, whether it's at the gas station, whether it's magazines, a subscription you don't need or don't even know.
They're buying.
100%. I mean, probably subscriptions that you don't even know that you have.
So true.
Right.
You know, and so if you could just take that $50 a week and spend it on yourself, you know, you made a great point. Investing in others is amazing, but you can't invest in others if you are pouring from an empty cup.
That's right.
It just doesn't work.
That's right. It's awful.
So that's a great, we do a consultation to start off where you'll meet with a provider. They'll go over your symptoms and, you know, whether or not we think that you'd be a good candidate if we can help, which we almost always can.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the blood work that you guys both described as our body blueprint. So that's what we call it because it's really just a look at where are you right now? Not to panic, but what can we do to change it? What can we do to get you into our optimal ranges? So that's the starting point. You come in, you get that blood work done, you meet with a provider again to go over those results. And then from there, you have a very clear plan that is very individualized of what you need and how we can help.
And I know if most people looked and did an analysis of 2023, they would probably find they spent thousands of dollars on medical appointments.
That's a great point.
Being sick, on all the quick fix supplements, MLM products they could get their hands on that don't even work.
Yep.
If they did the math, they probably spent double, triple, quadruple what they would spend in investing, and they would feel a ton better.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what I want to get across to people is stop over-analyzing. Should I do this for myself?
Yeah.
And walk into it, get the blood work done, because what you're going to find is the trickle down of the financial gain you'll get by doing a product like this. Not just because you're going to be able to function better and make more money, but because you're not going to be in the doctor. Knock on wood, I can't tell you the last time I went to the doctor.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
I'm never sick.
Yeah.
So it literally, I am a true testament to what it's done for me in every aspect as a mom, as a business owner running multiple companies at almost 50. My brain couldn't function like this just in my normal state. So I am so excited for you to be able just to share this with everyone
thank
today.
You. No, I love sharing it because I have seen so many people's lives be changed by what we do.
Yeah.
And it just never stops being rewarding. So even hearing you talk about your experience, it's something that is never less special to hear. So I love it.
Yeah, it's been a
awesome.
pleasure to have you on here. Now, if
Thank
people
you.
want to get in contact with you, especially Sharon, because
Yes.
she's going to make her appointment.
Yes.
But if people want to get in contact with you and they may live in other states, can you give them the best way to reach you?
Absolutely. So we have multiple locations at this point. We have a location in beautiful San Diego. We have one in Orlando, Florida. And then, of course, our flagship office here in Bradenton. So the best place to get in contact, and then we can point you in the direction of what would be the best location for you, is our website. So that's www.WePellet.com. There's a place right there where you can select your location. No matter where you select, though, it's going to get to the right place. We're going to help you and make sure that you get contacted right away and that you get scheduled, and wherever is best for you, we're going to get you there.
And I believe that because Bethany literally reaches out. As soon as I call over, send an email, she's Johnny on the spot.
So
Her
great.
team is amazing there.
Yes.
Thank
So I know
you.
you're in good hands.
Thank you.
And for those listening, I really want to encourage you this year. If nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah.
And so invest in yourself.
Yeah.
It's
Definitely.
okay. And start this year off on a different trajectory
Definitely.
than last year.
And at least go, I would say, at least for me, this has been so eye-opening. At least go get your blood work done.
It's like
at least
pulling
say,
your credit.
Let me do
Yeah,
this
it
first step.
absolutely is like that.
It's like pulling your credit.
Right.
You don't know how much debt you have or you think you know, but until you actually pull it and
Right.
analyze it, you have no idea. So look at this body blueprint.
For
Is that what
sure.
you call it?
It is. And our motto for our body blueprint is, why guess when you can know for sure?
Mm.
And there's just no reason to go through life wondering, am I, should I? At least get your blood work done. You have nothing to lose.
Right.
I
And it's
could not
kind of
agree more.
validating.
Yeah.
For
too,
sure.
Even I know it's like not all about the numbers,
Right.
but hearing that, it's like, okay.
It
I'm
just
not
makes you feel like you're not
crazy. There is
lazy.
a reason I feel
Makes
this
sense
way.
why I feel this way.
Definitely.
Okay, that's better. So there is
Especially
a way
after
to
being told
get
for
better.
so long by other physicians or colleagues or friends or whatever. Oh,
Right.
it's just normal.
It's
Doesn't
just
have
how
to
you're
be.
gonna
Yeah.
Right.
You know what's interesting? I'm just going to say this before we close. I can actually encounter and engage with someone who's my age and tell if they're on the pellet or not.
Mhm.
I've gotten to the place
It's amazing.
to where you know
Yeah.
if someone else
Is
is on the
functioning.
same level and functioning as you are. Maybe it's just intuitive, but I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell because it's the way they carry themselves. It's the way they communicate. It's how quickly they can, so you're going to be able to start to notice it
Yeah.
in others around you too when you're functioning at
Sure,
a higher
that makes
level.
sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think when people are not in balance, there are just subtle differences for sure that you definitely can pick up on.
Yeah. It's become a little game for me.
Okay,
I
so
love
stay
it.
tuned, gang.
I love it.
I'll be back and let you know.
Yeah. We're going to have you back on the show, Sharon, to share how you're
Yes,
feeling.
We're going to
versus
have a
today.
recap. Yeah,
Yes,
for
definitely.
sure.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank
and for
you
our
so much for having me.
listeners, go to our
Thank
website at reducemydebts.com. And if you want to know anything about our guests today, or you don't find their website or connect with them, you can always reach out and book a clarity call with us, along with a business brainstorming call also. So
Yeah.
until next time, we'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.